Jaws, a movie about a giant shark eating a bunch of people in a small beach town. And honestly, I get it. If I lived on Amity Island, I'd probably want to eat those people too. They're ignoring dead bodies that are washing up on the shore, pretending that boat accidents cause missing limbs, and putting the economy over human life. Sounds like modern day America, doesn't it? This movie proves two things. 1. The ocean is terrifying. 2. Some idiot's gonna come around and tell you that everything's fine as long as the money keeps rolling in. Jaws isn't about a shark. It's about how stupid we all get when summer vacation's on the line. Before we dive into Jaws, no pun intended, let's talk about how this thing nearly didn't even get made. Spielberg was a young director at the time, and the mechanical shark they built kept breaking down. They nicknamed it Bruce. But honestly, they should have called it a piece of shit, because that's what it is. The funny part is, all the malfunction ended up working in the movie's favor. Spielberg had to hide the shark and let the suspense build, which is way scarier than just showing a big rubber fish for 2 hours. This movie basically invented the summer blockbuster, which means every Michael Bay explosion fest we've been stuck with since 1975? Yeah, you can thank Jaws. Just remember folks, watching Jaws at home is way safer than swimming at Amity Island. Worst thing that happens is your popcorn runs out. Now go ahead and press play and let's watch Jaws. The story takes place in a small New England town of Amity Island. A young woman goes for a late night swim in the ocean and something beneath the water drags her under. The next morning, what's left of her washes up on the shore. The local coroner rules it's a shark attack, and Police Chief Martin Brody wants to shut the beaches down. But the mayor, Larry Vaughn, pressures him to back off. He's worried about scaring away summer tourists and hurting the town's economy. Suddenly, the coroner changes his story and calls it a boating accident. Brody reluctantly goes along with it until a young boy, Alex Kittner, is killed in front of a packed beach crowd. The town puts a $3,000 bounty on the shark, and chaos erupts as amateur hunters flood the waters. Meanwhile, Quinn, a grizzled professional shark hunter, offers to take care of it for $10,000. At the same time, oceanographer Matt Cooper examines the girl's remains and confirms it wasn't just any shark. It's something unusually large and dangerous. When local fishermen catch a tiger shark, the mayor declares everything's safe, but Cooper cuts it open and finds no trace of human remains, proving the real killer is out there. Later, Cooper and Brody discover a wrecked boat belonging to fisherman Ben Gardner. Cooper dives in to investigate, finds a huge tooth lodged in the hull, and comes face to face with Gardner's severed head. Terrified, he drops the tooth. Even with this evidence, the mayor refuses to close the beaches, only adding minor safety precautions. On the 4th of July weekend, tourists pack the shore. The shark makes its move, attacking a man in a lagoon and nearly killing Brody's son, Mike. Finally, Vaughn gives in and agrees to hire Quint. Brody, Cooper, and Quint set out on Quint's boat, the Orca, to track the beast. There's tension between the three from the start. Cooper's science versus Quint's old school toughness, with Brody stuck in the middle and terrified of the water. While chumming the waters, Brody suddenly comes face to face with the monster, a massive great white, estimated at 25 feet long and weighing several tons. Quint harpoons it with a line tied to a barrel, but the shark drags it under with ease. That night, the men share drinks and compare scars. Quint tells his haunting story about surviving the sinking of the USS Indianapolis in World War II, when sharks devoured hundreds of stranded sailors. The moment sets the tone for what's to come. The shark attacks again, damaging the boat and cutting the power. When Brody tries to radio for help, Quint smashes the radio. Obsessed with taking down the shark himself, another harpoon connects, but the shark's power rips apart the boat, dragging it backwards and flooding the deck. Quint tries to save the Orca, but the shark is relentless. As the boat sinks, Hooper attempts a last-ditch effort with a shark cage, armed with a poison spear. The shark tears the cage apart. Hooper loses the weapon and barely escapes by hiding on the ocean floor. Back on the Orca, the Great White rams the boat and leaps onto the stern, killing Quint in brutal fashion. With the ship going under, Brody shoves a scuba tank into the shark's mouth. Climbing up on top of the crow's nest, he fires his rifle, hitting the tank. The explosion blows the shark apart. Hooper resurfaces and the two survivors grab the remaining barrels and paddle back to shore. Jaws, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this one is extra special for me because I actually got to see it on the big screen for the very first time. Before doing this review, I've only seen it once last year. And of course, I fell in love with the cinema classic right away. The story of a killer shark terrorizing a small town is such a simple idea. But man, it's executed to perfection. That opening scene with Chrissy, the girl who gets dragged around and killed in the water, it's iconic. Straight up cinematic history. Watching Jaws unfold in a huge dark theater, almost completely alone, was one of the best movie-going experiences I've ever had. The cast is incredible. Roy Scheider as Chief Brody, Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, the shark expert, and Robert Shaw as Quint, the grizzled fisherman. Hooper cracking jokes and butting heads with Quint had me laughing the whole time, and Quint himself was just a badass from start to finish. Even though he goes down at the end, part of you is hoping that he'll somehow make it out alive. Maybe if he hadn't been drinking so much whiskey that day, who knows? Everything about this film holds up. The score, the acting, the dialogue, the sheer tension every time Jaws shows up. Spielberg really nailed it with this one. And getting to celebrate 50 years of Jaws here on Video Rental Chaos feels perfect. I still need to dive into the sequels at some point, even though I doubt any of them will hit the same high as the original, but I'm curious. Hopefully some of you got a chance to see Jaws in theaters while it was playing, because honestly, that's an experience you can't miss. One of the smartest things theaters are doing right now is bringing these classics back for anniversaries. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. New movies are great, but nothing beats seeing a true classic like Jaws on the big screen for the very first time. And until then, I'll see you at the video store.
Red, blue lights, white, bright lights, I got you in my sights tonight. Red, blue lights, white, bright lights, I got you in my sights tonight. Gonna get you in my squad car, and you're gonna tell me. Gonna get you in my squad car, and you're gonna tell me. Would you date a guy hung with a badge? Would you date a guy hung with a badge? Would you date a guy hung with a badge like me? And I'll date me, NYPD.